2024 was a great year if you're a fan of 90s and 2000s Brit rock bands. Many of them released new records this year that I reviewed on this very channel. So let's round up all the biggest Brit rock releases of 2024. On February the 2nd, Kula Shaker released Natural Magic. I love Kula Shaker and most of their 90s material, but I have to admit I lost track of the band over the years, but they still have that signature Kula Shaker sound, that 60s psychedelic rock mixed with lots of organs and guitar riffs. I really enjoyed this album, and it felt like a little bit of a return to form for the band. And in February of this year, I also got to know up-and-coming singer and songwriter out of the UK. His name is Ollie Barton. I had a chance to chat with him earlier in the year about the release of his debut single called It's Over Now.
When I was writing it, I kind of wanted to make this kind of really nice kind of pop tune, big hooks and all that, just to kind of get everybody moving at the gigs. And it just came to us one day, and we've just been playing it ever since. Lyrically, I guess it's all about kind of relationships, social media and all that jazz. But yeah, it's all about that a massive chorus, really. I mean, that's what, even I get that stuck in my head, and it's just like, that's when you know it's a good one.
And since then, he's released some more bangers, including The Light and his most recent single, Day and Night. He's a great artist. If you enjoyed the other UK bands that I'm talking about in this video, he's definitely worth checking out. You can check out his music on your music streaming platform of choice. On March the 1st, we got the debut collaboration album from Liam Gallagher and John Squire. It's a UK collaboration that rock fans have been waiting to see for a very, very long time. I really don't think it's the best music released by either artist, but there are some really good tracks to take away. Liam sounds great. John Squire is riffing all over the place. What else do you expect? Of course, I think it was a little bit overshadowed by the Oasis reunion announcement that we got later in the year, but it was awesome that they made this record. Also on March the 1st, the Kaiser Chiefs released their Easy 8th album. I loved their mid-2000s stuff, but kind of like some of the other bands on this list, I lost track of them over the years. I reviewed this album for the channel. I liked it a lot. There's some really great songs on here like Jealousy and How to Dance. It's very poppy, but I love a good catchy pop tune. On April the 5th, the Libertines released their latest studio album, All Quiet, on the Eastern Esplanade. This is their first studio album since 2015, and it's a sharp and catchy collection of songs. I'm not a big fan of the band, but even I liked it. Similar to the Gallagher brothers, I think fans in the UK just want to see Pete Doherty and Carl Barat making music together, and they did a really good job on this record. Also on April the 5th, Feeder released Black and Red. This is their 12th studio album, and it's a double album to boot. I don't really consider Feeder to be much of a double album band, but I still found it admirable that they made this record. It has some really nice songs on there. Grant Nicholas makes harmless but nice Brit rock music. They'll never really top their crazy awesome single High, in my opinion, but still a solid band. On July the 5th, Kasabian released their latest studio album, Happenings, which was their 8th studio album. And really, some people haven't really given them a chance since Tom Meehan, their former lead vocalist, left the band. But I think that Sergio Pizzorno, a good old Italian boy like me, has kept the band running really well, and they still sound great. It's catchy, it's melodic, maybe not on par with past material, but still solid. On July the 12th, Travis released their latest studio album, LA Times. I've always been a big Travis fan. Not every album has been great for me, but this one was a real nice return to form. It's Scottish rock via LA. It still has that same signature Travis sound, which for better or for worse, hasn't changed in a long time. On September the 13th, Snow Patrol released The Forest is the Path. This year was really solid for 2000s UK and Irish bands. I loved the mid-2000s material from Snow Patrol on albums like Final Straw, but it's kind of like some of the other bands on this list. I lost track of them after that, but I was surprised about how good this album was. Snow Patrol really has some serious songwriting chops even to this day. On September the 20th, The Blossoms released Gary, the 5th studio album from the Stockport band. You wouldn't think the story of a stolen fiberglass gorilla would be fodder for a rock album, but here we are. Tom Ogden he's a songwriter. He can make a catchy melody out of anything, and thankfully they found Gary, so we got a good album out of the deal, and they found our favorite fiberglass gorilla, so all is well that ends well. Coldplay released their 10th studio album, Moon Music, on October the 4th, which saw the band continuing to go further into the stratosphere. The band has really gotten far away from the sound of where they started. I wish they would come back to earth a little bit more, but I know that Chris Martin is an immensely talented songwriter. I just don't love the songs as much anymore, and I don't really know if Coldplay's music is really for me much these days. And then on November the 15th, we got the return of Hard-Fi, one of my favorite UK bands has been missing since 2011, since their last studio album, Killer Sounds, came out in 2011. I love this band. They just released a new EP called Don't Go Making Plans. I've always loved their material. I'm glad they're back. And I think, again, this was another big year for 2000s Brit rock bands. If you were a fan of those bands in the mid-2000s, you were in your glory this year. And that was another big story for me for Brit rock in 2024. 2024 was another great year for Brit rock and some of my favorite 90s and 2000s Brit rock bands. Let me know in the comments below which of the great Brit rock releases you liked in 2024. Make sure to like this video and smash the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos here on the channel.